Hello my darlings, I hope you're all well. In today's video, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do an inexpensive but beautiful wrapping for a holiday gift. And as you can see, it looks complicated, but I assure you this requires very little skill and very little money, and you can make a beautiful, beautiful gift just like this. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope that you find it easy. Let me know how it goes for all of you. So here are some of the things that you'll need. The first is this twine here, and I got this at the dollar store actually. It was only $1.25, and it's nice and scratchy. And you can get it at Michael's too, or other craft stores. And then we have some Scotch tape, and you can get that of course anywhere, dollar stores or craft stores, office supply. You also need a very sharp pair of scissors for cutting, of course. And you don't need to necessarily have a ruler, but I like to have it, and you'll see why. So you also need whatever you're deciding to wrap. This is a Minecraft book I got for my niece because she loves Minecraft. I thought its rectangle shape would be good for this example. And you also need regular white computer paper. I'm using kind of a thicker computer paper, but it's still just white computer paper. Simple, pretty boring really. And the last thing that you need is this brown wrapping paper. You can get this at a ton of different places. I got mine at the post office, but they sell it everywhere. It's also known as butcher's paper, and people don't really buy it, and it's usually pretty inexpensive because it's kind of boring, but I find it really empowering how boring it is and how simple it is, because I don't know, there's just so much you can do with it, you know. It's got a lot of potential, even though it's so simple. And it also makes really good crinkle sounds. And one more thing, because I know people will ask, my nail polish is Starry Sky from Avon. So to get started, you need to take your item, and we need to measure out how much paper we need. I find that if what you're wrapping isn't square or rectangle shape, it may be helpful to put it in a box. It's kind of hard to wrap things that don't have 90-degree angles. It just doesn't look as pretty. So you can either put it in a box and wrap it this way, or you can always put it in a bag. So I just eyeballed this. I don't know why, but I kind of have an eye for eyeballing this kind of thing. But if that isn't your forte, which is totally fine, just use a pen and mark the spot. And then when we do this, folding down at the bottom to line the paper up, it will create a straight line. So now you're going to see why I was suggesting you use a ruler. As you can see, it helps for making really, really flush lines and creases. You can push down really hard on thick paper with it. And I'm making the sign to cut on. So you're just gonna follow this line and cut carefully. Oh, I love when the scissors glide on the paper. It doesn't always happen, but it's a nice feeling. So, put the book over here. And we'll just put this aside for right now. So, I think that this is still maybe, yeah, too much paper. So let's see how much we need. Okay. Alright, well, we'll just fold it in half like this. And again, I'm just eyeballing this, but if you like, you can always draw a line. Just make sure that you're drawing it on the bad side of the paper, not the good side. And we'll just cut this out again. And I always save scrap pieces like this because, you know, you might wrap another little small item and there's no point in wasting paper. It rolls right up back around the original roll. So, I'm gonna flip the book around the other side so that we don't get any tape stuck on the front. That's always the worst, when sometimes tape sticks to like the cover of a DVD or book if it's a gift. So I'm pulling the book in tight so that I can create some nice crease lines. Then it can be wrapped tightly. I once heard somebody say that if you know how to wrap presents, you only need 3 pieces of tape. And that's just not me. I like to make sure everything's really secure. Just really well taped. It might be kind of a bother to open my gifts, but they sure look pretty. And that's all that counts, right? So we'll just put more tape here. So just make sure everything's pressed down really tightly to really secure it. Sometimes butcher's paper, if that's what you're using, is a little bit waxy and the tape doesn't always want to stick. This one, I'm not really having too much trouble with it, but sometimes it's like that. So I need to make these folds really, really sharp because we're going to fold the outer corners in towards the center like this. And you'll find that like the sharper you make these creases, the better the result and the more flat everything folds together. If you find that you don't get a perfect triangle when you're doing this, that you might just need to trim it a little bit shorter. That's always the issue whenever there is an issue. So you get a triangle like this, and then you can just, it's a little fiddly. Just pull it in, you have to play with it a little bit, but then you get that perfect crease triangle and it looks so nice. And then the fun task of taping it with one hand. And it's a little tricky, but sometimes these are really fun if you have a helper. Obviously, I do not, but I can get by on my own just fine. Although it's always more fun with a friend. See? That's how it's done. And then the other side. Try and, like I said, keep everything tight. That's the difference between a kind of mediocre gift wrapping and a really beautiful job, is to keep all the creases really sharp and keep everything nice and tight together. So we're just going to do the same thing like we did on the other side, folding the outer corners in towards the center and making those creases really, really prominent. That's, if you prefer, you might need the ruler for help, and that's fine, that's why it's there. And just like that. And then we'll bring it in towards the center again. And there. Now some tape. This tape is from the dollar store, but I think next time I would get brand name tape because it doesn't want to stay as well as other nicer tape I've had. Oh well, does the job for this. There. Maybe one more. I'm kind of a perfectionist. I don't like any little bits popping out. There. So it's all bundled up. And it looks pretty nice, I think, in my opinion. And the paper makes lots of good crinkle sounds. So we'll put that aside for right now. And we'll get out our computer paper. Just one sheet. And we're going to fold it. But we're not going to fold it in half like you usually would. We're going to fold one corner to the bottom to make those bottom lines line up. And you'll notice that it doesn't quite meet, of course, because the paper is rectangle shaped. So we're going to have a long rectangle on the side here that we're going to cut off. And it's okay if this isn't perfect, just do your best. Things can always kind of be fixed later. And try to make those pieces really sharp. So, we just have to trim off this excess with the scissors. And just do your best. And after, well, you can throw this away, but you can also save it for something else, like the gifts label. So we have this perfect square now. And try to keep those lines really sharp. But like I said, we're going to fold it in half, folding the folded edge, bringing those 2 points together. And it's important that we're folding along the folded edges and not the open edges, as you can see. Now, the more we fold it, the kind of harder it gets depending on how thick your paper is. Mine is a little bit thicker than regular computer paper. But if you have really thin paper, it might be easier. So we're going to fold it one more time. This last fold is a little hard. The paper is fighting me. But I'm going to win. Again, making sure you're folding along the folded edges so that we have this open side. I need the ruler again. That's why I suggested using it. You can make these lines really sharp. Perfect. So now we have this little triangle. And now the fun part. Now we get to cut all of our designs. And for this design, I'm going to do kind of a geometric pattern. I find that that looks really nice. Like diamonds and triangles, geometric shapes. But also I think it can be really pretty to do swirly designs. Anything you do, it's gonna look great. That's kind of the fun thing about these snowflakes. it's pretty hard to mess them up once you get all the folds right. Basically, any shape you cut in it, it's gonna look great. Also, I saw on Pinterest, I think, that there are specific patterns that you can cut in these to make shapes, like when you unfold them, from your favorite movies and stuff like that. Like I saw some that were like you can make Star Wars snowflakes and like Pokemon snowflakes and things like that. Those are obviously a little more complicated, but if you're artsy, I'm sure you could do it. And so if you want to make like a special snowflake for somebody's package, just check on Pinterest. Just check on, you know, like paper snowflake patterns in the search. And you can find some more complicated designs. For this purpose, I just make it up as I go because it's fun. Wrapping presents always makes me think of my family Christmases. And when you're a little kid, you go to bed early Christmas Eve, and all the adults at my house decide that that's when they're gonna wrap all the presents because they have to make it look like there's no presents before we go to sleep. And I only learned this once I became an adult, and you know, all of my nieces and nephews would go to sleep and we'd all sit around late, you know, like 1 in the morning and everybody's got like a hot chocolate or a Bailey's if they're feeling festive. And we'd all wrap our presents and talk, and we always have a Christmas movie on in the background because there's always Christmas movies on TV on Christmas Eve. So that's what I've got so far. I'm just playing. It's kind of relaxing to do these. But yeah, and we all sit around wrapping our presents, and my brothers are always really hopeless at it, so they have to have someone's help. But my sister and I love doing presents, so we're always like, I'll wrap it for you, like let me do it. It's fun when you're wrapping presents with other people. And I like doing little labels for the names and stuff like that. I don't know, that's like, it's a memory that I really love thinking about. All of us just hanging out, doing essentially, you know, a task together. But I don't know, I find that memories like that are the best ones, even preferable over parties and things like that. Just doing an activity together. So I'm still just cutting little triangles and diamonds. If you like Frozen, doing lots of triangles and diamonds in your snowflake makes a snowflake that kind of looks like the ones from Frozen. And like, maybe it doesn't, but that's just my opinion. That when I do these in this style, because I make a lot of snowflakes, it tends to look like the ones from that movie. If you're having trouble cutting a piece out, unfolding the snowflake like this can help. Just for the sake of cutting out a little piece, and then you can fold it back. Snip. Sharp scissors are really important, as you can see. But don't cut yourself. Be careful. It's very relaxing to do these little snowflakes. I wanted to make a whole bunch and hang them up, but I didn't have a chance to this year because I kept giving my snowflakes away to people. So there we go. I'm gonna get rid of all this mess. All these little pieces, snowflake confetti. Oh, more over here. Get rid of that. So, this is the fun part, unfolding it. It's always so exciting to see what form your shapes will take once you unfold the snowflake. I'm so excited. Oh, it turned out nice. I like it. So, get your package and your twine, scritchy scratchy twine, and we need to find the end. I just bought this, so I don't have it. Oh, where's the end? Oh gosh, I'll find it. Don't worry, I'll find it. Where are you? Oh, okay, I found it. So we need to measure the right amount of twine, and this I'm gonna eyeball again, but you can always wrap it around. It needs to wrap around twice. That's the length. And I always give myself a little bit extra that I can trim off. So we'll just cut this. Snip. And put that aside right now. And then put beside the twine, we need to get our snowflake. And I'm going to try and center this. It's okay if it's not perfect. Sometimes it looks really nice if it's off center or to the side. And very carefully flip it over. So now we're going to tape the snowflake. All these little bits. And try to make this, like everything else, really flush to the package. Is it centered? It's a little bit off. Hold on. There. And like I said, the tighter you make this, the better it will look. So it won't be hanging loosely. It will be like part of the parcel. And there's some hanging out bits on my design, some little pieces, but we can fix that later. And get this little corner here as tight as possible without ripping the design. Which might be difficult depending on how delicate your paper is. But you can do it, I know you can. And then flip it over, and it's so pretty. There's some little bits, but I'll fiddle with that later. So now we're going to do the ribbon, or in our case twine, and I'll show you how to do this if you've never done it before. Find the middle of your ribbon and place it right across the center of your package and flip it over. Oh, I got it stuck on the snowflake. Isn't that just the way? Okay, hold on. Alright. And then bring the two sides towards each other and wrap them around each other just once so that they go in opposite directions. And then holding them tight, flip the package around again. Oh, it got stuck in. Oh. We're having fun here. Okay. And now we're going to tie a knot. And this is a trick that my mom taught me. And it works really well. So I'm going to wrap the strand around once and also a second time. And that really helps to hold that first knot steady instead of slipping out, which is what it has a tendency to do. So now I'm just going to make a knot here instead of going right towards the bow. And that's just to make it steady like this. Perfect. So now we can go ahead and make the bow. And wrap it around just like tying shoes. And pull it tight. And I'm going to double knot it just to make it secure. There we go. And I'm going to trim these ends. You can leave them long if you want to, but I like them to be short and neat. There we go. And I'm gonna tape down all these little fiddly bits because they're kind of bothering me. You don't need too much tape for this, just a little bit. And who knows, your design might not even have any little bits hanging over the edges. But mine does. Wouldn't you know? There. Oh, and there's one on this side too. Perfect. And that's the finished package. Oh, there's all kinds of the twine leaves junk on the desk. That's the finished product, and I think it looks so beautiful, and it looks really pretty to give to someone very professional. I wish you all happy holidays. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely sleep, and bye for now.